Good afternoon. My name is Nikki Soda, and I am the Membership and Advocacy Officer for NAATP. And we are kicking off Membership Month in August with a friend and a colleague, John Curtis, who is the co-founder, CEO, and president of the retreat that's located in Minnesota. Hi, John.
Hi, Nikki. Great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for taking some time. Well, I'm hoping that you could kick us off by telling us a little bit of the history and the mission of the retreat.
So I'll start with the mission. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for individuals, families, and communities affected by alcohol and drug dependency by providing affordable, effective educational services grounded in the 12-step principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. The retreat started in 1998. But in 1991, a group of people got together, funded by the Johnson Institute, that flew 50 professionals across the country, researchers, criminal justice, addiction professionals, to Captiva Island in Florida as a think tank. Because in 91, we could see the writing on the wall that the cost of treatment was skyrocketing, access to treatment was diminishing, and outcomes were starting to diminish. So we said, and managed care was kind of getting its grip on Minnesota, California, and eventually we said they're going to do this to the whole country, which is limiting the number of days somebody can spend in a residential setting. So the theme was, where are alcoholics going to get help in the future in terms of residential care? Sure. So Dr. George Mann, who started St. Mary's, the first hospital-based 12-step program in Minnesota in the 60s, and I hooked up down in Captiva, and we came back to Minnesota and started a group called the Community of Recovering People. And it was addiction professionals. These were medical directors from treatment centers across the state. Some of the original founders of the Minnesota model from Hazelden. I represented Hazelden in the meeting. And, longtime sober men and women and business leaders. And we met once a month as a think tank for 7 years.
Okay.
And we brought in social model movement people from California, people from High Watch Farm, and of course, one of my jobs at Hazelden was teaching the Hazelden model of care back in the, kind of how it all started, the Minnesota model. How did it start? So, from all of that, and one of the things we did is we interviewed, we brought together 50 people who had 10 years or more sobriety and fed them lunch and had a 3-hour kind of brainstorming session and basically said, how did you do it? How did you get 10 years of sobriety? And so we documented what they said, basically. We have sponsors, we're active in AA, we do a lot of service work. We carry the message to one another, and we have a good spiritual program.
Nice.
So we said, okay, let's develop a model of care that's built around that, those set of principles. So I wrote a business plan in 1995, and I called it the Retreat because I wasn't, I was looking for a name, a placeholder in my business plan. That name stuck. And so in 1998, the board said, do you believe in this mission enough to leave your cushy job at Hazelden to make it happen? And I prayed a lot and prayed some more and eventually said yes. So left Hazelden in 1998, where I worked for 20 years, and started the retreat. And it was a 19-bed experiment. Could we make a very simple, basic model of care that could put people in the front row of 12-step recovery? At a time with all the complexity and co-occurring issues and everything else that people bring to the party, could we do something that would be affordable, effective? And so we started. Guest number one showed up. Turns out I was his counselor 16 years earlier.
Oh, wow.
Our first project, Jimmy. And, it grew from there. And now we have 171 beds. We're now located in Wayzata, Minnesota. We've served 29,000 people from around the world since we opened. Wow. But it's still at the core, it's about making recovery more accessible and affordable.
Who would you say is your demographic? Who would you say is the retreat's demographic?
Yeah, so we serve people who know they have the problem and are motivated for change. If they have a co-occurring issue, which about 50–60% of our people do, it's not the primary burning house issue. About 80% of our people have been to 1 to 5 previous treatments. And 20% have never been to treatment, but their dad was a longtime member of AA, and the family finally got their attention. And it turns out our outcomes are actually even better for that 20% first timers. However, we're serving people who are smart. They know all the words. They can't hear the music, but they know the words.
29,000 people is a tremendous number. Could you talk a little bit about your alumni, the Alumni Engagement? I know the retreat has a really strong alumni program.
We do. I think it's probably one of the great surprises of the retreat is this energy in the community to help one another. And the agent of change at the retreat are other recovering men and women coming in and sharing their story with one another. So, and that's a lot of our alumni and a lot of long-term sober people who come in and tell their story and carry the message and take people through the steps. We have, 30% of our people go on to live in the retreat sober residences. We have sober softball, sober hockey, sober pickleball. We have 500 people that show up on Friday night to play sober softball.
That's incredible.
So the manager hasn't shown up, so I'm now the manager. So I kick steps at the umpire, and it's a lot of fun. And it's to see people find joy and excitement about life and recovery is what it's all about.
Absolutely what it's all about. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with so many different components that the retreat touches on. And one of them that you said a couple of times is affordable, effective, and it works. And so I want to thank you, John, for the work that you and your team there at the retreat do. And I want to thank you for being an NAATP member. It's important to us and our membership to have all different kinds of treatment, of high quality treatment across the board, and the retreat hits a number of those. So I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for being a member.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of NAATP. I've been a longtime member of NAATP, and I just love the mission of NAATP. It just elevates the whole field of recovery in our country.
Oh, I appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.